Good day, everyone, and thank you for being here with me, Nuala Taylor, with Transform Your Life, You Under Reconstruction. And today we are going to be having an interview with my beautiful stylist and, local business owner here in the place that I live. His name is Joseph Emmanuel Taylor, and his business is Joseph Styles. So, Tailored Style, I'm sorry. And we're gonna be talking about wellness and business while I get my hair done, because there's a lot of work to do, and trying to provide help to the local community and small business is kind of like one of the things that I do. But we're gonna talk about how he has dealt with and shifted and pivoted his business and how he cares for himself. So stay tuned, and I'm super looking forward to this. Show reel. So this is before. I was brushing my hair a couple days ago, and as I was brushing my hair and looked down on the sink, I saw all these little break-offs. And I was like, oh no! I must have a ton of dead ends, but I can't see.
Yeah.
Because my hair is so dark.
Yeah.
It doesn't exactly show up unless it gets light colored at the ends. So I'm like, okay. And I've noticed that my hair slowed down its growth.
Really?
So it's probably has a lot to do with the fact that I've got my keratin and my cuticles are all craggy.
Gotcha. So we're just kind of trimming it up then? Not taking off too much length?
We're trimming it up so I can make sure the rest of my head looks good.
Okay.
But I have a lot of growth. You can see that nothing is uniform. I've got little baby hairs everywhere.
It's fine. It's totally fine. Okay, let's go shampoo you. Come back.
All right, and here we are with Joseph Taylor, who is the owner of Tailored Style here in the city of Harker Heights. Why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Gotcha. So my name is Joseph. As she just said, I was born here in 1995. I am 24, and I'm just like a young kid who has really big aspirations, always have. Love the world of business and entrepreneurship and the ability to create the world that you want. So right now I am a hairstylist and a business owner, and I make the world beautiful.
So what kind of services do you have here?
Got you. So housed in the whole salon, we have, I want to say like 4 or 5 hairstylists. We have 3 different barbers. We also have a lady who's a braider, and we used to have a dance studio too, but she's leaving this month. So yeah, we've had a lot that has been here.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so there's been a lot of pivot that's had to happen, like right now in this time of uncertainty.
Yeah.
And so how has that affected you, and how have you changed your concept or your business, or what has your outlook been during this time as far as business is concerned?
Gotcha. With everything that's happened, I feel like, number one, I'm super blessed and grateful that it really did not affect me very negatively, and it was not as bad as it was for certain people, because I know certain people are still going through such hard and trying times. Thankfully, God kept me, and I truly believe that it was nobody but God. But for me, the changes has been just assessing more like, we all need to have savings. We all need to, whether you believe in, I know there's people who believe in like the Abraham's method of having no debt or financial. There's some different educations that you can adapt to and different theologies and philosophies about it. But you need to have money put away. We all knew that beforehand. But this was just another huge lesson to me that even more than what you think. Because had money saved and stuff like that, which was great, but it just shows the uncertainty of it. You want to be even more prepared. You know what I mean? Like, there is comfort in knowing that you have. Okay. Sorry, road. Okay, so we're talking about.
So you're talking about like the importance of savings,
Yeah.
and when you mean they're like, whatever you think you need is not enough. What do you like? How much? If you were to take like what you needed in a percentage, right? Like how much you're thankful that you had because of that.
Yeah.
And like say if people are like, okay, I'm only going to put aside like $100 or $50 because that's where they're at.
Yeah.
How long would their savings have to be for their contingency account to be where they can actually deal with the real of what's going on?
The reality. I think, it sounds crazy to say, but I think if you take your income, what you make yearly, out of what your bills are and your expenses, not once, but just what you need to survive. And if you took that number, and I would say at least have a year savings of that amount would be sufficient is what I would think. Because we all have different levels. We all need to be saving at different levels. I use plenty of like money apps that like just take money directly out of my account in percentages and go into different accounts, so that way it's like without even me seeing or knowing, because I feel like it's harder to save than intentional because you'll always find a reason to spend the money. You will always find a reason to, I wanted to go get this, or I wanted to go get that. So it makes me happy to know that it's that. And then I also have my investments with stocks and bonds and all of that stuff like that. So between all of that, I'm comfortable, you know what I mean? And I feel like we should be able to live life without that fear of like, all right, am I going to make it? And this situation that happened really opened my eyes again to make me even want more of that freedom. So like, for myself, I would love to be able to say, hey, if anything happens, I'm good for the next 2 years. Like I have enough to put away that I'm good.
And then the unfortunate thing is that within a lot of economies, especially like the lower socioeconomic status that people have, something like that doesn't seem like it's feasible. Absolutely doable, right? But feasible. And, who to connect with that to figure out how to do that for you is going to come later. But besides pivot in business, and besides making sure that you were okay financially so that this wouldn't hit you as hard.
Yes.
Because it did hit everybody.
It hit everyone. I mean, it still affected. I don't want people to think I'm just like, it was fun. We still had a lot of money to shell out during this time while not making any money. But I had to do it. You know what I mean? I couldn't imagine what my outcome would have been if I didn't have it to do it. Right. And now I was prevented from making the money to do what I need to do. Like, that would have just been awful.
Okay, so that's the business part aside.
Yeah.
So business is very personal, especially for entrepreneurs, right? I know for me it's personal.
It's your baby.
Right, that's my baby. And they're all my little eggs, and I'm trying to make sure that they all get treated nice and the temperature is perfect and they have the environment to grow, and I'm doing whatever's consistent to make sure they grow.
Yeah.
So it's very personal for us, right? Which means when something like this happens, or even when something happens in our personal life, it can affect our business.
Yeah.
Like, what have you done to take care of yourself? Like, for your wellness, for you to be good and you to be okay.
Yeah.
How have you gotten there? And, have there been periods of dark times?
Gotcha.
Right?
So for me personally, I'm a big person of faith. And I know everybody has their own interpretation of who God is to them, you know what I mean? And so for me, it's my faith. I spend a lot of time praying, meditating. Most people who, like, if you get in my car or you come into my house, like, I'm always playing gospel music, and people always find that to be interesting. Like, this is really what you listen to all the time? I'm like, yeah, this is my peace. This is my faith is everything. I attribute everything to that. And of course there are dark times. I mean, even as positive as someone can be, as optimistic as somebody can be, there are moments of where you think, there are thoughts, there are things that that come up and you can stress. So during this, there wasn't too many dark times, but there were some moments that it's just like, this is hard. But then what always gets me out of it is I always remember that somebody else has it probably worse. Like, it's not as bad as I think it is. Even in just like being at home. Like, I'm single, I live by myself. My family, or my parents, my parents and my family are here, but I live alone, you know what I mean? And yeah, so sometimes during this time of just not doing anything, not going anywhere, it's just like, oh my god, this is depressing as hell. It's like, I can only imagine how people who really suffer with deep depression or really have mental illnesses are dealing and coping with what's going on right now. So there were moments, but I always find a way to just change the narrative. Even when I get anxious, when I like feel overwhelmed, I just remember that there's somebody greater than me looking out for me and making sure that I get to where I need to get to.
So we're slowly, in the state of Texas, trying to open safely. Safely. Because they say safely, right? Even though we all know that, the cat's out of the bag, no putting it back in.
Yeah.
We're just trying to, what do they say? We're just trying to flatten the curve.
Same.
Right?
Curve with my weight.
Right? That's true. I'm trying to flatten this curve.
I'm trying to flatten.
Right. So, when I'm realizing that this downtime has changed my perspective on a whole bunch of things.
Yes.
It has shown me the importance of connectivity with others.
Yeah.
The energies that we share with other people, being able to interact with them, and sometimes even those negative, not the ones all feelings are all feelings are valid feelings. But even the people that you're having reactions with and conflict with that doesn't make you feel good, those have value too.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing that over anything, this need and this love for other people.
Yeah.
Right? To be in their presence.
Yeah.
Right? To hear their laughter, help them with their sorrow, and be able to talk to somebody face to face. I miss that.
Yeah.
I so miss that.
Yeah.
And I think that there has been a lot of conflict created within the you not allowed to talk to people.
Yeah.
Right? And for me, it kind of, I like to be able to give myself perspective, and I love to be able to look at through other people's eyes and hear what they have to say, because left to my own devices, I make some serious mistakes.
Yeah.
And not having additional feedback.
Yeah. A sounding board.
Yeah, I need a sounding board, something to bounce off of, because when left to my own devices, I can make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
And sometimes when I think something is great or good or perfect, right, someone else might see it and see flaws or mistakes or improvements that could have been made that I'm totally missing. So I miss that. What did you miss during that time?
I missed being able to definitely connect with people. I missed being able to brighten up people's day. You know what I mean? I do a job that's very public, service oriented, and we encounter so many different people. And some people come and feeling so down or just having a moment. And like I said, when people have moments, and we're able to change that by their appearance and make them feel good. So definitely missed that. I missed working. You know what I mean? My whole life, I've always been working or doing something. So to be doing nothing was very much on one end it was oh my god, this is amazing. On the other end it was oh my god, I literally feel like a bum. I'm not a bum, but I feel like a bum. I don't know how bums do it, because that was probably the worst thing. I'm oh my god, this is amazing for an hour, and then the other 9 hours of the day I'm what the hell am I gonna do?
Right. I found out that not just staying busy, but being productive. And I don't want to say that I define my life by it.
Yeah.
But creating value, that's important for me.
Yeah.
Right. That's one of my top 6 human needs that I need fulfilling all the time, and it rules my behavior. Is the need to contribute.
Yeah.
And I was just okay, now what do I do now?
Yeah.
Right. So I became social media just dynamo after that.
Yeah.
Because I was okay, I need to connect with people.
Yeah.
I need to bring the level of fear down. I need to pump everybody up with positivity and help them get some perspective. And the only way that I could actually do that was through social media.
Yeah.
That way I didn't feel like a bum.
Right.
Because on my days, my calendar is just, you should look at my calendar. I really need to get down on that and squeegee it a little bit and refocus and give myself some serious me time. But even when I did, for 2 or 3 days, yesterday, we just got internet back, right?
Yeah.
For 3 days, we had no internet, right? And I'm oh, I get time off.
Yeah.
Right? And then I was I started feeling like anxious
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and I won't say upset, but I started feeling
Yeah.
like anxious
Yeah.
and like my energy was
Yeah.
going nowhere, and I was like, what do I do with my time?
Yeah.
Now that I have it, what do I do with it?
Yeah.
What did you do to fill the time?
Like I said, I did pray a lot. I read a lot. I just thought about business. I'm very much a vision planner and a vision board maker. So going over my goals, seeing what I've already accomplished, seeing what I haven't accomplished, really self-reflecting. I've had a very last 2 years of my life are very hectic and very crazy, as you well know. And so there was a lot that I hadn't had time to process. In the past year, dealing with one of my business mentors, Peppa Joe, it was like I knew things were sinking, but I like was trying to keep going. You don't ever want to give up on your dream or your baby, but it was like I was drowning, but I was also in the middle of the ocean. I couldn't touch the ground, so there was no time, there was no rest. I was just paddling, trying to stay above water, with everything that was going on, and then there was so much personal stuff behind the scenes going on, and literally, I realized I had not processed anything because I didn't have time. Because it's like as soon as one thing stopped, it was something else. As soon as one thing was done, okay, now we have this to deal with. And so it really gave me time to like really dissect and process all that had happened in the past 2 years of my life. And I'm grateful for that because my perspective is so much better on it. And I don't feel negatively about any of it anymore, which is great.
Have you seen the pictures like over LA or the pictures in China where they did most of their industrial work?
Yeah.
Like all the pollution is like cleared away, right?
Yeah.
So this period of time has been the time to actually process a lot of the negativity in our lives. But you know what? Mother Nature has been doing it too. And it's a beautiful thing when you give yourself that downtime and that rest.
Yeah.
Really important in our wellness to remember that. If you're the kind of person that works service, like we work service, right? If you're the kind of person who you're loving, you're giving, you're compassionate, you're trying to increase the vibration of the planet, you've got all these things going on to create positivity in your life because you've seen what's on the other side of the coin, and you know all that glitters is not gold. So you're starting to find out what actually matters in our lives, right? But you can't fill other people's cup when your cup is empty.
Not at all.
So it's important to remember to do that self-care. And I am actually quite grateful for this episode of what everybody is thinking is a tragedy. Has actually been something I think everyone was praying for.
Yeah.
Is time to process, time to...
Well, because time never stops.
Right.
Time never stops.
Time to process things, time to be still, time to spend time with our families, oh my gosh. Time to protect and think about our elderly or the people in our society we normally forget about. You know, those kinds of things are super important and were made available now. People have actually made giant shifts in what they look at as business during this downtime because it's actually, you know, like, okay, so has what I've been doing actually been valuable?
Yeah.
Is what I've been holding on to, like you're, like feel like you're drowning, you're just treading water, right? Is this business actually bringing me any value?
Yeah.
What am I getting out of holding on to this?
Yes.
And what direction would actually make me happy?
Yeah.
Right? Because like you said, earlier we had this conversation, we were saying that he's really into starting the business, right? The process of getting the system, figuring it out, putting it in place, and implementing it. It was just the after that kind of got difficult. So we all know now that Joe's special power is creating and implementing systems. You'd be getting a lot of clients who'd be like, I need some help with the structure of my business. You know what?
Like, I love business, I love entrepreneurship, but I mean, any entrepreneur will tell you our goal is not to be the one behind the counter. That was never the goal. And I think when you start a business and you, even the best execution, there is the unknown variable to any business plan, to any personal, anything you do, there's the unknown, the uncertainty. And you have to calculate that in. You have to calculate that in. Now, I'm a person of like, well, once I decide I'm going to do something, it's done. So it's so funny, my prayer time with God, I always tell God, I'm like, even if which I was never supposed to happen, which it was because it did, I was going to see it to completion. From the moment I said, I'm doing this, it was going to happen. And it did. You know what I mean? But, and it's understanding that those type of lessons are valuable. But I also realized that it wasn't what I wanted. You know what I mean? I loved it. It was something I created, but I never wanted to be the person holding it up.
I think the interesting thing about having faith and realizing what your purpose is and things that you do and be willing to accept,
Yeah.
whatever the outcome is from that, is that sometimes the things that you build weren't meant for you.
Yeah.
Sometimes the things that you build were actually meant for someone else.
And that's another beautiful thing, because whenever God does something, and you know, my prayer is so funny. My prayer was that even if I let it go, that it would go on, and it has.
Mm-hmm. And it's doing.
Yeah.
So that is our time with Joe here at Taylor Styles. He is located at
600 Indian Trail, Park Heights, Texas, Suite 103, 108, and 102.
And if they want to find you on the internet to book, where do they go?
So you can go to the website, which will be www.taylorstylesalon.com, and that is Taylor, T-A-I-L-O-R-E-D, not Taylor like my last name.
Yeah, it's a play on words.
It is a play on words.
Kind of play on words.
Yeah, so you can go on there. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for spending your time with
me.
me. And thank you guys so much for watching and listening. And I hope that something that you saw resonated with you. If you love what you see, love what you heard, and if you have not done so yet, please go ahead and like this video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you know when new videos are coming out. You're also welcome to listen to the podcast version of anything that I put on for my interviews and for Mindfulness Mondays and Wellness Wednesdays. It's all available for you, and it will be down in the comments. If there is something that you resonated with or you have questions, please leave them down in the comments below. I love to engage with people. Joe loves to engage with people, and absolutely, it is a life of service, and it is my higher purpose to be of service. And so this is one of the things that I do to facilitate that. So I want you guys all to have an amazing day. Be love, be light, be brave, be you, and namaste. Bye.